Every gaming event, every news article, all I hope for is for them to mention Silksong.
That can't be it. Where's the rest of it?
And because I'm so full of hopium, here's everything you need to know about the Silksong news so far. Silksong is one of the most anticipated games, and it's a sequel to Hollow Knight, which is arguably one of the best platformer Metroidvanias of all time. This game was initially shown in a trailer back in February of 2019, and was initially planned as DLC for Hollow Knight, but because of the scope of the game, Team Cherry decided to make it a full-blown sequel. Silksong was then shown at E3 in 2019, and it's rumored that Silksong was being developed since the release of the original game, which is in 2018 after all of the ports and DLC.
What can we say so far about release plans for this?
So Hollow Knight Silksong is coming soon. Silksong is coming soon. Coming soon. Coming soon. Silksong is coming soon.
Where is it?
We have various details regarding Silksong due to the various trailers and exclusives such as Team Cherry and Edge magazine, where they gave some juicy details about the game. So let's start on the new main character, Hornet. If you played Hollow Knight, you'll know that Hornet is the child of the Pale King and Hera the Beast, Queen of Deepnest. So that makes her a half-sister to the Knight and also part bug spider and part ephemeral. She is also known as the Princess Protector of Hallownest, and compared to the original Little Knight, Hornet can travel much faster, jump higher, she can mantle or clamber onto ledges, and is generally more acrobatic. Due to this, one of the major considerations for the level design was to make it much bigger, especially vertically, since Hornet can get height much faster than the Knight. One of the main differences that can be seen early on in Silksong when compared to Hollow Knight is when you compare Hornet to the original Knight. The Knight was silent, and it was a place of total mystery. However, in Silksong, Hornet is able to express her aims and intentions. Team Cherry did assure us that there's still heaps of mystery, but the player will really quickly get a basic idea of who Hornet is, her attitude, and her starting goals. Now, let's talk about the setting, and the game will take place in Pharloom, which already looks more sophisticated than the original Hallownest. I mentioned earlier that Hornet is part bug, and Team Cherry said that it makes her more real, and the world reflects that as well. So there are less glowy orb things and less magic bursts of light, but many more blades and traps. The main plot starts with showing that Hornet has been kidnapped from outside bugs and brought to this new kingdom of Pharloom, where she escapes before reaching their final destination. In this process, she has lost her traditional strength because of the time she was bound into this cage, and the Weavers, or what's left of them, are helping her restore it. This new world is ruled by Silk and Song, a land of beauty and mystery, where ancient rituals are still practiced and where music plays an important role in its culture, such as performing melodic rituals to open doors. The original musical composer of Hollow Knight, the amazing Christopher Larkin, is coming back for the score of Silksong, so we can expect some melancholy melodies. For the story, instead of exploring down into the depths of Hallownest, this time we're making our way up to the Citadel for the main quest. However, similar to Hollow Knight, there are going to be unexpected people, events, quests, and encounters that shape our journey and tons of secrets to explore. We got a glimpse of some of the characters we will meet, and starting it off is Lace, who looks to be one of the main antagonists of the game. It's also possible that this might be a recurring theme in the Hollow Knight series, where one of the early rivalries we meet becomes a friend later in the game. Of course, we've also seen the Weavers, and we'll likely get a deep dive onto their background and story. The Bellsmiths, who manage the crafting system of the game and create weapons and gadgets. We've seen different biomes in the game, such as the Moss Grotto, Deep Rocks, Bone Bottom, and of course the Citadel in the trailers, each with their own set of unique enemies and bosses. Now let's talk about combat. Team Cherry says that they have dramatically improved their AI so that the enemies are a lot smarter and faster, and that the enemies have surprising ways of chasing you, keeping up with you, or evading your attacks. They also said that the enemies couldn't be tricked into falling off ledges or hurling themselves into spikes. Despite that, in another interview, they also mentioned that the difficulty will be around the same as the previous game, but from the sounds of it, it could be a little more difficult. One other important detail is that Hornet can now heal 3 hearts at once, as opposed to 1 heart at a time. This means that the boss level design doesn't have clear-cut stages like the original Hollow Knight. It's much faster, where you're bouncing back from full health to almost dead continuously. Hornet, of course, fights with her trusty needle and thread as her main weapon, and we've seen some of her abilities such as parry, grappling towards enemies, dashing to dodge attacks, pouncing down from the air, and then there's also her tools and abilities that help her in combat, which we've also seen a couple. Hornet can throw single nails or a nail pack. She can also throw a nail bomb. She can summon spawnlings, which are bugs that attack enemies abilities for her. A pimpilla, which is a grenade-like fruit that Hornet can throw at enemies, causing an explosion to both friends and foes. And one of the most interesting abilities we've seen is a saw blade, which ravages through the ground, and a lifeblood syringe, which gives her temporary extra health. The original trailer back in 2019 boasted that there are over 150 brand new enemies, and we officially saw at least 7 bosses, but considering this was back in 2019, there's probably heaps more by now. For new players, you're probably wondering, are you required to play Hollow Knight before playing Silksong? And the developers answered this question and said that it's not required to play Hollow Knight before playing Silksong. The game has an entirely new kingdom with its own lore and new characters, which means it's a perfect jumping on point for new players. Team Cherry said that they want this game to be a game that new players can jump in and experience as their first Hollow Knight game. Even though the developers said it's new player friendly, we do strongly recommend to play Hollow Knight because it's one of the greatest games developed, and you'll be able to enjoy Silksong even more after playing the originals. Hollow Knight is very difficult and is sometimes called the Dark Souls of platformers. Now let's talk release date. In March 14th, 2022, the voice actor of Hornet said she has finished her voice acting for the game. In June of 2022, in the Xbox and Bethesda showcase, Xbox showed a picture of all of the games coming day one to Game Pass within the next 12 months, and we see that Silksong is on the picture. The Xbox account also tweeted about it, and someone explicitly asked if Silksong is coming in the next 12 months, and the official Xbox account replied saying that's exactly what they're saying. PlayStation also confirmed that it's coming to PS4 and PS5 in September of 2022, and a lot of people expected the game to be revealed on the Hollow Knight anniversary and in conjunction with the Nintendo Direct of February, but that didn't happen. Now we did get info that Xbox and Bethesda are doing a massive showcase on June 11th of this year, and if you want to be super speculative, Team Cherry could technically shadow drop it. This would be after Tears of the Kingdom, and it would still fall into that original tweet of releasing within a year, and this semi makes sense if Xbox owns the marketing rights for it since it's launching directly on Game Pass, but it's not confirmed who owns marketing rights for the game. It could be anyone or no one at this point. A 4chan user did leak the agenda for the Xbox event, and that's what they listed, but it's 4chan, so be cautious. It definitely makes sense that it won't be in May, since that's when Tears of the Kingdom will launch, and Silksong would not want to launch near that, so it's likely going to be a last minute in June with a shadow drop, or the game could have gotten delayed.